But we wanted to jump in quickly. We have two topics we're going to cover tonight, but they're both basically, they're very similar. They're not the exact same, but they're very similar. Oil application techniques. And I see that there was quite a bit of interest in this. So just as an FYI, we're not going to teach you either technique, but we're going to give you information so that you can determine if there's one or the other that you would like to dive further into and get more information about. You can get a lot of information on either application's website, just so you know, and we will mention those websites as we go along. The AromaTouch technique is a technique that was developed by Dr. Hill on doTERRA's staff. And so if you ever get the opportunity to go to a training with Dr. Hill for the AromaTouch technique, or to hear him speak about AromaTouch, he is a wealth of knowledge. He'll tell you the science behind it. He'll tell you why they chose the oils that they chose, and all kinds of things. The AromaTouch technique is I'm just going to read it to you because this is the best way to explain it. It's a systematic approach to essential oil application. It's a powerful, accessible way for everyone to experience the power of essential oils. By incorporating this technique into your health philosophy, you can enhance the benefits received from essential oils, addressing whole body needs, so it's systemic, and creating overall systemic health benefits. This, like we said, is an oil application technique, so it's not a massage, although we have some massage therapists that are a part of our team that have been trained in the AromaTouch technique. And if you want them to, you can go in and have them either just do that technique, or with some of them, they'll do it as an add-on when you get a massage, either way. So, but don't think of this as a pressure massage type thing. Yeah. It's literally just a really light touch technique that's used to apply the oils. The whole point, there's 4 basic points behind the AromaTouch technique. There's 4 different areas that are addressed with the AromaTouch technique. The first is stress management. So if you've got somebody that's in a highly stressful situation, using the AromaTouch technique has, and I'm going to tell you, there's 8 oils used in the AromaTouch technique. I'm going to tell you the 2 oils that are helpful in each one of these 4 quadrants. If you drew it out on a graph, yeah, there would be 4 quadrants. Upper left-hand corner is stress management, and the 2 oils that are used in the technique to address those are balance and lavender oil. Okay. We're not going to go over the benefits of those. Yeah. You know them. The second one is immune support, and those oils are Melaleuca, tea tree, and On Guard. Okay. And that would be in the upper right quadrant. Inflammatory response is in the lower left, and those oils are the AromaTouch oil and Deep Blue. 2 very similar oil blends, but have very different results. And then the 4th in the lower right is to bring your body into homeostasis, which is the closest thing we get to balance in our bodies. And those oils are wild orange and peppermint. Okay. All 8 of those oils are used in a full AromaTouch technique, whether you're doing it as a full body technique or whether you're doing it as a hand technique. Okay. If you're interested in learning more information about the AromaTouch hand technique, you can actually go on the aromatouch.com website, and they'll give you more information about how to do that. It's a little complicated. It's very easy technique to do. It's just showing the different, what they're called zones that you use and the oils that you use. Typically in an AromaTouch technique, you choose, I think it's 1 or 2 of the oils to be used in the technique. With the full body AromaTouch, you use all 8 of them. So for example, I would use 2 in the AromaTouch. So for example, if you're doing the AromaTouch hand technique on someone who is dealing with a lot of stress, then I would choose the balance and lavender as the 2 oils that you use. Why would you do the hand technique instead of the full body technique? Well, there's certain circumstances where it's not really appropriate to take your shirt off.
True that.
Yeah. And to do the full body AromaTouch technique, what we typically have people do when they're going to a training is they bring a robe or a shirt like a button down shirt that can be opened backwards.
Yeah, they wear it backwards.
They wear it backwards and then lay on a massage table or on the couch or bed or whatever. You do the technique, and it's just on the spine and the feet, but it goes like all the way out. So there's different, like I said, zones. Let me explain a little bit about the zones that are used in the AromaTouch technique. This is something for thousands of years, healthcare practitioners have been aware of the fact that there are different body meridians and different organs and body parts that have effect on our health and well-being. So the different zones of the back address different areas. So for example, zone 1 is on either side, right? Either side of the spine. So you straight line all the way down the back on either side of the spine. Zone 2, there's 5 zones.
Yeah.
So zone 2 is just outside of that. You just keep going further out until zone 5 is on almost to the
it's on the outer side of the
right, almost
the
to the
blades.
armpits, but not quite that far.
But on the outside of the shoulder blades.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you use those different zones to hit different areas of the overall health and wellness of your body. So there's 10 meridians or zones on the body. They're divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Each meridian plays a role in enhancing the immune system. And when we talk about putting the body into homeostasis, that is, it involves all 4 of those areas: stress management, immune support, inflammatory response, and the overall balance of the body. There are also feet regions that you use. So you do, when you're doing the full body technique, you actually do down the back, and then you do the feet. And there are, again, 10 zones on the feet. 1 starts with the big toes and goes down, and it goes down a toe. Each 2 goes 3, 4, 5, and it goes all the way down the toe. So the hand technique is the exact same thing as the foot technique. You just use their hands instead of their feet.
And this is all, you said, this is available on their website.
Yep, on the AromaTouch website.
And that was, again,
you're going to get aromatouch.com.
Okay.
You're going to get more information about the hand technique than you do the full body technique. There's a basic overview, but your best bet is really to go to a full training. It's a full day training on the AromaTouch technique. It's very simple. When you go to the training, basically what they do is they have an hour or so of training on the if and why, you know, all the things about it, the history, the reasoning behind it. And then you listen to a description of the way the technique is done. Then you watch the instructor do it. And then there are 3 people in a group. You do one and have one done on you for each person. And then you just kind of trade off. I will tell you, there's a whole lot more to both of these techniques than just application of oils. If there's anything we've learned in the last year, it's the importance of personal interaction, touch, hugs, being in the same room with somebody, all the things. You can do a lot through this, doing a Zoom or being on screen with somebody.
And we are thankful for this.
Absolutely
thankful.
But there's nothing that replaces a hug or personal touch or just being in the same room and breathing the same air as somebody else. So that is the basic idea behind AromaTouch. It's a whole lot deeper than that.
Oh yeah.
But it's the basic idea. And there are other oils that you can use.
Well, and when we did it, we did just the basic. We had Christy Hughes, who is in our upline. She actually, at a local event, she kind of gave us an overview, and then we actually were able to do that to each other. And we just picked an oil. We just picked one that we had several to choose from, and whatever you like the smell of. And that was, again, between the touch and the power of the oils. It just is, it's great. Anyway, just doing that.
And especially with the hand technique, one of the things that's really cool about it, like I said, is you can have the person pick their oils, or you can choose 2 of the oils in the regular AromaTouch technique that would bring the most help to the situation. But like, for example, I have a chart here in front of me that talks about if you're dealing with somebody who needs whole body relaxation, what oil would you use?
Whole body relaxation. Oh, balance. I was going to say I would use AromaTouch, but yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But balance for sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with somebody who's having occasional respiratory issues, breathe. Occasional stomach upset,
Digestion.
or tamer if you've got.
Yes.
If you're if that's all you've got, or you're working
And I
with
actually
a
was
kiddo,
thinking with the
or
respiratory stuff now too, we do have the option of AirX.
Yes.
Breathe is still, but if you have AirX, that's another great one.
if you're dealing with
Awesome.
somebody who's having trouble with localized blood flow, so maybe they're having trouble with their hands or feet being really cold, you can use cypress.
Yeah, that's great for circulation. Yeah.
So incredible
stuff.
technique. I know that that's a really, really basic overview, but it kind of gives you an idea of the level of interest that you have as far as diving into it further. I will tell you, the AromaTouch website has a great deal of information. It's really good. You can watch videos, all the things. And again, that's at aromatouch.com. So if you have questions about AromaTouch, let me just scroll through here really quickly.
Cindy just said, yes, hand techniques are done before surgery. I know, isn't that interesting how they've started to do that? Yeah.
Peggy posted the link if you want to see the link for aromatouch.com. And that's what we've got so far on AromaTouch. I know that was a super brief overview, but it gives you the basic information.
Well, and again, I think it also just says to you, if you're in a situation with somebody and for whatever reason, you're not going to hurt anything, grab an oil, grab some lotion, and just rubbing it in and doing that.
Yeah.
So,
If you're looking for an opportunity for connection with somebody, if you have a family member, whether they're elderly or whatever, that's in the hospital or in a rehab facility or a nursing home, dementia unit, any of those things. One of the things that they found that has been hugely beneficial, and specifically in dementia and Alzheimer's patients, is this hand technique. Frankincense and the hand technique have been incredible. And again, you just have to have access to their hand, which I know right now is difficult.
Right. But that's different than having access to the feet. Right. Again, that's great too. But the hands
or
are
even
usually,
the whole back.
Except for this last year.
Yeah.
The hands are usually available and appropriate. So yes.
Yeah, for most everybody.
So yeah.
All right. Bear with me just a second. I'm going to attempt to play the video that Jamie did for us earlier today. Yes. This should be simple. So
like I said, you're going to watch it. We're going to watch along with you.
Yeah. So I've seen it before. She hasn't. Yes. So there we go. Hope you have your pen and paper and are ready to take some notes.
I'm ready.
Hang on. Oh, this is what we want actually. Okay, ready?
Okay, so tonight we have Jamie Gregory from our overall doTERRA team. Jamie is under Louisa Crane and Ellie Robinson, and those are your frontline or your most active leaders, right? Above you,
and Teresa Lee.
All right, and they are on the Florida leg of our team. Jamie and I met several years ago at a training that I traveled to do with Louisa and Ellie, and has grown to be a really dear friend of all of ours. Jamie had the privilege a couple of years ago of getting to go see Boyd Truman do a training on Symphony of the Cells. So rather than Amy and I try and tell you what we've learned from what we've read and seen, we're going to have Jamie explain it to you because she was there and heard it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So Jamie, go ahead.
Thank you, Carol. I'm excited to be able to share this with you all. So I'm just going to kind of go over some of the notes that I took while I was there at Symphony of the Cells. And I encourage you, if you ever get a chance to do a Symphony of Cells live training, I encourage you to run and do it. So one of the things that Boyd Truman told us is that wellness is a personal responsibility. And that really stuck with me because it's true with doTERRA oils that our wellness is a personal responsibility. It's not anybody else's responsibility, it's ours. And one of the quotes he said, good health. One must health. If he or she is ready to do reasons for their illness, possible. And I thought that was pretty interesting. So now there are some exceptions to this, but we can all take personal responsibility. And that's why it's so important when utilizing Symphony of the Cells that you take a full health assessment, including diet habits when addressing the ailment. So when we have something when someone comes to us and they have an ailment, not only are we going to try to discuss with them what exactly is the issue, but we want to kind of take into consideration what are some other factors that's going on. So we want to kind of see, are they dealing with some diet habits, or are there some environmental habits? Like, for instance, we're in the middle of a kitchen renovation. And so my husband's developed a cough. Well, there's a whole lot of dust going on in our house. So it's not just a respiratory thing going on, but it's also some environmental things going on. So one of the first things you may ask is, well, what is Symphony of the Cells? Well, it was developed by Boyd Truman, and it's a detailed, systematic application of specific oils applied to the spine, and it's massaged in a specific order. But you're also allowing your client or your patient to be able to smell those certain oils, and you apply it you let them, you drip it on and you massage it in, you let them smell it, and you also apply it to their feet. And what it does is it brings the body back into balance and harmony. And you're using touch to help restore them. It's a little bit different from AromaTouch, the AromaTouch technique, which you're also going to learn about. So it's really neat because if you're into science or just studying, it's really neat because you can get a chart and you can find out what system of the body that it's affecting, and take that and then look and see what oils that it affects that will help take care of that. And the really cool thing about doTERRA and all the essential oils is, if you don't have one oil, you can look and see what other oil might be able to be exchanged for it or substituted for it, which is awesome because you can interchange them. And so you're not stuck with saying, oh, you have to use peppermint or you're out of luck. So you can always use something else. Like, you can use it if it calls for a citrus oil, there's other citrus oils you can use. So that's what's really neat. The Symphony of Cells is really easy to follow, so anyone at any level can use it. So it's not just like the wife can use it, you can teach your husband to use it, which is really neat. Also, you can do it on yourself. So I know at first when I was learning it, I thought, well, gosh, I'm doing this for everybody in my family. What about me? Who's going to do it for me? But you can do it on yourself. You can put the oil on, and you can put it on your lower back, and then you can put it on the back of your neck, and then you can put it on your feet. So you're still getting it. One of the questions that was asked was, well, what if you can take all those oils and you can put it in a roller ball? You could do that, but really you're mixing all those oils up together and you're not putting them in a specific order on your spine. So, you could do that, but really it's best to do the oils in the specific order that the protocol calls it for. What Symphony of Cell does also is it makes the necessary connection between your body systems and your illnesses that you're addressing. It's also fully endorsed by the National Certification Board for Therapeutic Massage and Bodywork. So if you're a massage therapist, this is a really cool thing. If you went to a live training, you get credit hours for that. Also, it's great for supporting, of course, your own health or the health of another individual. So one of the things that is really neat, I thought about it, is if you think about it simply, a lot of people try to complicate it, is the reason why you're putting it on your spine and on your back is because your nerve endings are right there, and it's easy allowance for your communication with the rest of your body. So when you're putting it on your spine, that's your nerve center. It goes all the way up to your brain. So all your spinal fluids, everything is in there. So just think of it as that highway to your body. And then of course you've got your feet, and that's where all your pores are. You've got so many pores in the bottom of your feet. So just think of it just as a super highway. So that's why you're putting it there. And so you're feeding all your different organs and glands of your body. So it's so simple and so great. And that's what I love about it. When I do the Symphony of Cells, for me, it's an expression of my heart, of love and care. So it's a gift for me to do it for someone. So when I do an application, it gives me a chance to use the connection of my faith that I have, and it just gives me a chance to put the person that I'm doing it to, they're on a massage table or they're on the couch, and it just gives me a chance to connect with my faith with Christ and just pray for that person. And so it's just given me that connection to be able to do that. They're relaxed, and it's just a time for me just to think about it and just to pray over it and just to give healing. It's just this time for them to be able to just relax. If you think about it, essential oils, it's an aromatic medicine. And so nothing can replace the physical touch. With this time of COVID, for those of us that are social butterflies like me, it is so hard for me to not have a physical hug and touch. Nothing replaces touch. It's like you go up to somebody and you're like, are they a hugger or are they not a hugger? It's like people need to wear like a color on them. Red for like, don't touch me, or yellow for it's like wave, or, something, because we just need touch. So what the difference between Symphony of Cells and AromaTouch therapy is Symphony of Cells mixes your oils for symptoms. So you're taking your oils and you're matching them up for the symptoms, where and you're addressing certain ailments, where AromaTouch is putting your body back in homeostasis, which I think Carol's going to be talking a little bit about AromaTouch. And so when we apply these oils in Symphony of Cells to your back of your head, your spine, your feet, and your vertebrae and all, we're directly addressing symptoms, ailments, illnesses, those types of things. We're not talking about homeostasis. We're addressing issues. So they were doing this because the body knows what to do with it. And we're doing it with certified pure therapeutic grade oils. We don't want to put junk, because we don't want that junk going in. We want to make sure that we're doing it with the highest quality oils. And so I am not endorsing, I would never, ever, ever, ever do it with any other oil other than doTERRA. So I'm going to make that claim right now. Our body is made up of mostly water, and so we're responsible for what goes in us. We control that. Most of what goes in our body, we control that. So for example, I'm just going to use Diet Coke. There's a lot of formaldehyde in Diet Coke. So whatever goes inside us is our choice. So just think about unforgiveness. If we're unforgiving of someone, that creates a lot of acid inside us. And so think about your stomach gurgling. So there's an application for that. There's a protocol for that with Symphony of Cells. So when we do an application for that, it gets rid of that in our body. So think about this. What have we done to our body in what we're putting in our body? And so with this performance of what we're doing, this applications that we're doing, there's certain protocols that address certain issues that we're dealing with. So everybody can benefit from a Symphony of Cells. It's not just those who are unhealthy, even those who are physically well. You still should do once a month a protocol just to make sure that we're staying in great balance. If we have people who are using essential oils and it's not working, or they have a reaction to an oil, if it's doTERRA oil, this is what I'm talking about, and they have a reaction to it, it usually means that their body is toxic. So you want to look at their diet or something. So don't put the oil on their skin. If they have said before that they've had a reaction, a physical reaction to a doTERRA oil, you'll want to try something internally. So Boyd Truman has suggested going with your alpha CRS for detoxing plus your Terrazyme before you do the Symphhony cells. Because if you have so that's an important thing to ask is, have you ever had a sensitivity to any type of oil topically? Because if they have sensitivities to oils topically, then you want to make sure that they do alpha CRS and the Terrazyme, just to kind of detox before they do that. So it's very important that you talk to your clients before you do this. Let's see. Also, you need to be very consistent. Just like taking your vitamins, you can't take your LLV every now and then and expect it to work. You need to be consistent, just like drinking water. So if someone's coming to you, say Carol's coming to me with, she has a case of, let's just say, I'm going to use my husband, for example. Say he's got some bronchitis junky stuff, and I can say that right here on this. Say that's happening. He's going to come to me 3 to 4 times a week until the symptoms are gone. And then after that, he's going to come to me one time a month to get it done, to take care of it. But I'm also going to put him on LLV, and I'm also going to put him on Terrazyme, just because we want to make sure that that's being taken care of. But I'm also going to warn him, if he's never had a Symphhony cells, that this could produce some really bad side effects, because the essential oils are organic and pure, and there's a whole lot of toxins that are going to start coming out. Okay, so and there's no way that we can replace God's oils with anything else. No, they're pure. So when you start using them consistently, you're going to start getting some nasty taste. Your face is going to break out. All these toxins your armpits are going to start stinking. Your feet are going to start stinking. There's some nasty stuff going to start happening, because what it's going to do is going to start recalibrating your cells to be healed. If you think about it this way, oils are neurotonic and medicine is neurotoxin. So that was really interesting to me. So how do you know which application or protocol to use? So first, you determine what body system the condition you're seeking relief from is connected to. And so once you make that connection, you can review the correct body system and view the list of oils. So then you can start going from there. And Symphhony cells has a great bundle. They have a great book that you can use. And they also have a little booklet, but they have a Symphhony cells book. And in it, they have all the systems and the oils that you can use. And then they have a chart with the symptoms. They have the endocrine system, the immune system, the emotional limbic system, the connective systems, the integumentary system, which is the skin. It's your skin and your hair and your nails, and they protect your body. They have your circulatory system, your digestive, your nervous, your respiratory, and your urinary system. So you can look at those and find out what's going on, and then go with one of those applications. So if you're not sure what application even after that to do, always start with an inflammatory, because when our body is fighting something, you're going to go with an inflammatory. Cut down the inflammatory, cut out the sugar. That's the first thing. If your bones are aching, you're tired, you're just achy, you're grumpy, inflammatory is the first one you're going to go with. Second, you're going to go with digestive. It's the gut. Third, you're going to go with forgiveness. And that's the big one. And then you're also going to want to do LLV, Terrazyme, and you're going to want to throw in citrus oils, because citrus is great for detoxing, and it's also great for the emotions, because when you're detoxing with protocols, your moods are going to be crazy, and you're going to want to do it about 2 to 3 times a week. And also a caution here, patients who have, or clients that have fibromyalgia, you're always going to want to use a carrier oil, always. Even if it says not to use a carrier oil like frankincense is you don't have to use a carrier oil. With fibro, you're going to want to use a carrier oil because they're so sensitive. I have an autoimmune, and touch sometimes, even just a little one, hurts. So you want to use that, and you're going to want to use lemongrass for pain. With the young or elderly, you're only going to want to use 2 to 3 drops when you're doing the Symphhony of Cells. Also, if someone is going through chemo, you do not, no, use LLV or Symphhony of Cells. And the reason why is because it detoxes. And when they're going through chemo, they're trying to put yuck in you to kill out the cancer. So you do not want to do that. But after they're all done with their treatments, and they're totally done with their treatments, then you can do that. You can, just like with after getting immunizations, if you do immunizations, you can use cilantro or Zendocrine. So that's one thing you can do. The main reason that the essential oils work, of course, is that I know Amy has said this before from her dad, our body recognizes it as food, as we work together, we're the same substance. So that is, also, when you're doing a protocol, look at the oils that you're using in the protocol and choose 3 of those oils and think, what of those 3 oils would be good in a capsule for aches? And then take that 3 times a week. So for instance, if you were doing one and it had Roman chamomile, helichrysum, and melissa in it, you could take those 3 oils and use those internally. So if a protocol, it usually has between 8 and 10 oils, you would choose 3 of those oils and put those in a capsule and take those internally, as well as doing the protocol. For the infectious disease, the ID protocol, or pain, you can also use a hot, wet compress after, and if you can tolerate it, and that will help drive that in. Also, if you have someone who is struggling with alcoholism or sugar or opiates, our body wants to hold on to those. So you need to make sure that when you are alternating with 3 times a week with that protocol, make sure that they're taking On Guard during those days off of the protocol, and make sure that they're taking the citrus oils, because that's great for cleansing and detox. Also during that time, you need to do the forgiveness protocol with them. And it's very important, because that forgiveness protocol is huge, because a lot of times when they're struggling with alcohol or sugar issues or opiates, they are holding on to a lot of trauma or forgiveness. And you do a forgiveness protocol. You start that off with the person sitting up, and you hand them the first 2 oils, which is rose and geranium. And they actually do that protocol themselves, the first half of it, because it's important for them to make that connection, and they're placing it over their heart and they're placing it over their liver. And it's important for them to do that transfer, and you're not to do that part. And let's see, what else? The Maxim protocol. That is a great one for addressing cancer cells, to use that. When you're doing the Maxim to kill the cancer cells, it's also important that you take DDR prime, and you alternate that with the solar application for your adrenals. And also to add turmeric, the oil turmeric, every single day in a capsule. So that is extremely important to do. And then, so one of the last things, which is really great for asthma, which is something that I had struggled from, when you do the respiratory application, if you add lemon and cinnamon, 2 to 3 drops, into the Exo Kids, and you take that for 14 days, 2 times a day, it will help you get rid of that tack. So when you're having a really strong asthmatic attack, try that. So, so just to recap, we use the Symphhony cells similar to using essential oils in our home, addressing health concerns. So you look at the ailment, you go to the chart, you look up the application, you choose the oils, and you apply. And so how you apply is you take, I'm going to use baby doll here. Really, my granddaughter's baby doll. You have, can't take her clothes off, but she's laying here, pretend she has no clothes. She has just her panties on. So you have her, and you're going to drop the oil. Say this is an adult, not a child. You're going to drop the oils on the spine, and then you're going to rub 2 hands, rub in a circular way. Rub like that. Then you're going to let her smell. Then you're going to go to the feet and rub the feet. And then you're going to continue on. Now, some of the protocol will ask you to use carrier oil, and you will drip it the same way. And some of it will tell you just to smell, or some of the protocols will tell you to just do here, but it will tell you in the protocol exactly how to do it. But now when it's the forgiveness, she'll sit up, and then you will hand it to her, and she will put it over her heart, or she'll put it over her liver. Then she will lay down, and then you will finish the rest of the protocol for her. So, any questions?
That was great, Jamie.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. I have one comment that I wanted to make, just to clarify for people.
Yes.
That was great information you gave on detoxing from vaccines. I do want to mention the fact, though, that if you are someone or are caring for someone who has gotten the COVID vaccine, that is a different type of vaccine.
Yes.
You can't necessarily hope to detox from that one using the cilantro and that type of thing.
No, because it's a totally different makeup.
That doesn't mean not to. It just means that you don't necessarily have any guarantees that it's going to do what you want it to do. So
okay.
That's just the side note. No, you did a great job. Thank you. Okay, so tell the people that are watching that haven't experienced Symphhony of the Cells before where they can go for more information. Do you have that website?
Oh, yes. The Symphhony, gosh, you know what? The Symphhony
I should have got that ahead of time.
Yeah, I am Symphhony of Cells website. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have.
They could just Google or use DuckDuckGo to check and see the website. They have a full website.
Yes, they do.
You can order training materials, workbook, all the stuff.
Yes.
But, and I have not gotten to do this yet. Amy really wants to do this and hasn't yet. But if you can get to one of the trainings by Boyd Truman, absolutely. It's worth every penny from what I understand. And I would encourage you to do that. Just like if you can get to a training on AromaTouch that Dr. Hill does, there's nothing better than learning about a technique and the thoughts behind a technique from the person who created the technique.
Absolutely.
Just the science behind it, the thought behind it, that makes such a big difference. So
yes.
All right. If you have questions for Jamie, Amy's going to be able to answer some of them. I can answer some of them. But if you have a more detailed question, then we're going to make sure we get those to Jamie and get responses for you. So make sure that you comment. If you're watching the Zoom on this, make sure that you type in the chat. If you're watching this after the fact, shoot me a message. You can use the contact form on my website, or you can use the text, which, as most of you who are on my text service know how to do that. But if you're not on my text service yet, you can do that by just sending me a text to 615-270-2980, and we will get that information to Jamie, get any answers that we can all the things. So,
Yes. And actually the Symphony of Cells, the application only takes about 6 minutes.
yeah. Well, and I have not had training in it, but the materials that you can get from Symphony of the Cells are detailed enough that when I had COVID, I was able to kind of work through them and figure out how to do them on myself, just using the book that Jamie was showing you. So, and again, like we've talked about before, you're just going to address the symptoms. So
Yes.
just figure out what symptoms it is that you're trying to address and go from there.
Just put them on. Just put the oils on. Get them on your body.
Yep. Like Emily Wright has been quoted as saying, just open the bottle. So, okay, well, thank you so much, Jamie. We're going to log off here. Hang on a second, but we're going to log off here. And if you guys have any questions, make sure to get them to us and we'll get an answer for you. Thanks.
Okay.
Is that not the most amazing thing? I love it. And I've been doing them for years and I love it. I love it.
Okay, we have some questions.
Okay.
So,
And I jotted down a couple things that I've been on live. I would have, but I want to reiterate to you too. So
Terry said once it's allowed, she's going to offer this to the residents at a local facility.
that'll be amazing.
That would be fabulous. Sorry about the glitching and shrill sounds. That was me. That was totally me. So sorry. I was trying to do something and get on the call with you guys, and
It was just feeding back. Yeah.
so sorry about that. Hopefully it rectified itself after we were done. Terrazyme and Alpha Cirrus makes sense. Yep. Solar application.
And Maxim, those are both the protocols. Those are the names of those protocols. I didn't know if that was what you were asking.
Tamoa said she's late here, but she'll go back and watch
Yeah.
what she missed. Yep. Spine, neck, and feet only for the Symphony of the Cells. Yes. And again, it's pretty self-explanatory once you get the book. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't looked on the website.
I haven't either. Yeah. And let me tell you. Okay. So do you want to finish questions or do you want me to
Yeah,
start?
and I
Okay.
want to make one comment real quick.
Okay.
The website again. Okay, so the website for Symphony of the Cells is just symphonyofthecells.com. AromaTouch is aromatouch.com.
Thankfully, they're easy.
Yeah,
Because sometimes
yeah.
they're not.
The one comment that I had that I was pondering on was a little bit sobering is the idea that alcohol, sugar, and opiates are all treated by the body in the same way.
Yeah.
That'll make you stop and think.
She went to meddling. Did she not? She went to meddling. Stepping on some toes.
Yep.
Mine included. So not pointing any fingers at all. Only to myself.
Spine, neck, and feet. Okay, so AromaTouch is all spine, neck, and feet. Although there are a couple of things that they have you smell. But in the Symphony of the Cells protocols, there are several of them that have a strong emphasis on smelling the oils.
I don't know this for sure. Well, the way that she almost presented it made it sound like that she has them inhale
She
after
does
every
after
oil.
every.
Because I don't.
Yeah.
I normally do, and I'm just.
But there again, she's gotten the training.
Oh, I know.
And you're learning.
Yeah. Well, but not everyone tells you to do that.
Right.
Not all the protocols. And I
Right.
just went by what they say. Because I'm just going to show you. I just opened to sensory. Let's go to. Well, she said inflammatory, so we're going to do that. Okay. So when you look at the inflammatory in the book, the protocol looks like right like that. Okay. So the little symbols each mean something. And so like frankincense, and I believe, unless I'm mistaken, except for like maybe one protocol, forgiveness might be the one. Frankincense is actually the first oil in every single protocol, to the best of my knowledge, except for forgiveness. And that one actually frankincense might be the first one. And frankincense is the first one that you do to that person. They do rose and geranium themselves. So anyway, but it has the picture of, it has the little guy, and then it has the nose, and then it has the feet, and then the spine is the other thing. And there's a what's that called when it tells you what it's called? There's a word for it when it gives you the, like what they tell you what those are for.
Sheet.
Well, they tell you what those are. Anyway.
Yeah.
So, and I will tell you, and when I do, again, I didn't do the training, so I do Symphony of the Cells when I've got somebody that's really struggling. I do it every day, and I've actually been known to do it more than once a day, but here's what I will tell you. When I do that, when I know I'm going to do it that way, I actually only do 2. I go like and do almost like only 2 drops at a time,
Mhm.
which when you're doing this the way that it says, it's actually like 4 or
Yeah.
5 drops of each
Yeah,
oil.
at least.
And that's kind of what I do. And I'll do like 2 oils, and then I'll have them inhale usually. But I always do it at the end. That's how, and my husband is the one that normally I'm doing this on. And he always knows that that's what he's done, is when I cup my hands and have him inhale. So that's kind of how I've done that. I love hearing from her what she said. I missed what she said about cancer patients. When she was talking about that, she was talking about the Maxim protocol, which is one of the protocols in here. And that was talking about addressing the cancer cells, and then DDR prime, and you alternate with the solar protocol for the adrenals. But what she did say was, if someone is on chemo, that you do not do LLV or Symphhony of the Cells, because both of those are helping to detox, and you actually, with chemo, the toxins have to stay in there to kill the cancer cells.
Yeah.
So
during the treatment.
Once they're done, then you can do that. I'm going to just read you real quick. Thank you, legend. I knew there was a word for it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to read you the names of all the protocols, because I just kind of want you to get a feel for. Some of them are self-explanatory, some of them are not. There is a basic application one, and that it says for children, it's only like 4 oils or 5 oils. Hang on, let me tell you real fast. Where'd it go? I would think basic would be first, but it is not. Okay, well, we're not going to do that one first because I can't find it. Anyway, so there's basic, and then there's cardio, cellular, C2, which is a cellular. They just added another protocol. Chi, digestive, emobic, forgiveness, hormone balance, ID, which is infectious disease. They just have it as ID. Inflammatory, lymphatic, Maxim, neurological, osteo, respiratory, sensory, and solar. So those are all of the protocols. They added, I think we added one more, but maybe it's a sensory. I was thinking we had added another one, but that one's not coming to mind off the top of my head. So those are just all of the protocol listed in the Symphhony itself. They each have between 8 and 10 oils. Mm-hmm. And so, and most, like I said, they all start with forgiveness. They almost all end with peppermint. There's a couple that end with spearmint, but most of them end with peppermint. This was actually put together before we had copaiba. No, we had copaiba. We do have copaiba because it's listed in some of the protocols. I sometimes add copaiba.
I think it was though created before copaiba, and they just updated the books.
Oh, okay.
If I remember correctly.
So those are just a couple of those things. I want to talk about the substitution chart. So I'll do that in just a second. I did want to say self-application. My husband will do this for me, but it is just not the same when I do it for him. It just does not translate the same. So
it's often the difference between a woman and a man.
Yeah, I often do it for myself, and I do. I go up the brain stem as close as I can get, up and then down as far as I can reach, and then I go to the bottom of my spine and go up as far as I can reach. It leaves about that much of a gap.
And it's probably not necessarily the circular.
No, that's tricky. That's a little tricky. So I just go up and down with that, but you can do that. I'm going to be honest. I always forget about doing oils internally. She said to pick out 2 or 3 oils, guys, literally, I've been doing Symphhony of the Cells for probably 2 or 3 years, and I think I've done it twice because I forget. I just forget. But I love when I'm utilizing these protocols. I know that I'm when they're in the midst of the junk going around, whatever, I know that when I'm doing that for them, I'm actually benefiting myself. Mm-hmm. And here's what I've also done. If we're all, like when my husband and I both had COVID, and I was doing it for him, I would do it to myself at the same time. So there was a little bit of a gap between the different oils because I was doing it for myself as well at the same time. Look, I'm doing head and shoulders, knees and toes, but, and I love that. And I also love that no matter if I'm not struggling with something or not, I know I'm benefiting greatly from whatever oils I'm doing anyway, because obviously they're absorbing into the body. She mentioned about a warm compress, helping to drive that in. I've also done that when my husband has really been struggling with some things. I've done it and then said, I've done it before he got in the shower. And then knowing that the heat and the water was going to help to drive that in. So again, I love these things.
One of the things I want to mention too is that if you've been around for a while, you know that there are recommendations as far as not exceeding a certain number of drops of oil per day, because your body has trouble, the liver specifically has trouble processing all of those oils and keeping your liver health well. And obviously we want that to happen. These are all protocols that you use, like you don't do this daily.
Right.
So
Unless you're me.
Yeah.
But like I said, I don't use that magnitude of oils, and that's why I've done it that way.
Right.
Because I feel like I'm kind of, again, I kind of blended the whole concept of consistency and trying to do that. So that's why I have done that. But I, again, literally use at the most 3 drops. Usually it's more like 2 of each oil in that thing. But yes.
And I will say, I've really no science to base this up on, or to base this on. But when Jamie said about, not putting all the oils in a bottle and doing them that way, if that's the only choice you have, then put them in a roller bottle and do it that way.
Yes,
You're
absolutely.
better to have some oils than to have no oils.
Yeah.
So if your life is so hectic, and this happens with some people, that's your only option, do it.
Well, and I will tell you, when you really don't feel good, it's hard. But again, it's like when oils become so much part of your life, like, again, you don't go to bed without brushing your teeth. I mean, I'm assuming most people don't. You just do it. And again, I've done it when I've really felt lousy. I might abbreviate it some, and I might just pick 4 or 5 of them and go, okay, I'm just gonna do those tonight, bottom of my feet, if that's all I can do.
Right.
Again, when I'm in the throes of being sick, oils always are close to my bedside, but I will put them in such a place where I literally just can grab them even with my eyes closed and be able to just roll at least the bottom of my feet and keep that in our system. So one thing I wanted to do, because I love this part of the book. So we have the Symphony of the Cells.
Pause 1 second.
Yours looks brand new. Mine is rough.
I haven't used it as much as
mine is rough looking.
While she's
it's got oil drops in it.
While she's talking about this, if you guys have questions, now's the time to start typing them into the chat.
And one thing I was going to say, I'm going to talk about the substitution chart. So if you have an oil, or maybe there's an oil that keeps coming up that you need to use for something and you don't have it, will you type that in, and I'll just give you the substitutions for that. But this was like a game changer. And when we first started using oils, I wish I could remember. I know Melissa was one, probably sandalwood or Roman chamomile are probably oils that I didn't have. Yeah. Something called for it, and I just realized, oh, I have a couple oil blends. I didn't know that those were in there, and so I would utilize the blend, knowing that it's in there, knowing I'm getting other oils, but I felt like that was at least a good option. So this is the big book. Is this, you don't have? Do you have the little book too? Did you just have these?
I have it somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know.
And then this is the chart that she was talking about. Hang on, I'm saving my page. Talking about, this goes with, this is the one that has the body systems. So like she said, okay, so why you all are maybe typing in if you've got substitution things. So when she was going through the circulatory and cardio systems, digestive, emobic, the limbic, endocrine, all of those. Then when you look at that, like, let's go to the endocrine. Let's just do that system. So it says at the top endocrine, and then it says the body organs that are part of that. It's the thyroid, the hypothalamus, the parathyroid, the pineal, adrenal, thymus, pituitary, kidneys, and the reproductive glands. Okay, so those are the bodies that are included in that system. And then it says, and this is why I think this has to be separate, because this is not compliant, even in the most, not at all, just so you know. So in the endocrine, it says possible associated conditions.
But then again, this book does not have to be compliant where the FDA is concerned.
Correct.
Because the purpose of the Symphony of the Cells organization is not to sell oils. It's to teach you a system.
Gotcha.
So.
Right. But we couldn't post this on stuff because, So it says the possible associated conditions: Addison's disease, adrenal cancer, Cushing's disease, diabetes, endometriosis, fallopian tube challenges. I love how they say that.
Yeah.
Fatigue, Graves' disease, growth hormone deficiency, Hashimoto's, hyperglycemia, hypoglycemia, hyperpituitarism, hypothyroidism, low testosterone, menopause, metabolic disorders, obesity, postpartum depression, postmenstrual syndrome.
Mhm.
Post.
It's like premenstrual, but it's postmenstrual.
I see that now, but anyway, premenstrual syndrome and thyroid cancer. So again, so those are how you kind of, and then it says the suggested symphony of the cells applications: hormone balance, cellular, sensory, amoebic forgiveness, solar, and C2. And then it says that it gives you related singles, so other oils that you might use, related blends, and then related consumables. So it does our oils, single oils, blends, and then the products we have. Because this says cellular complex, which is DDR prime, right?
Yes.
Copaiba soft gels, Zendocrine, it says detoxification blend, but Zendocrine, digestive enzyme complex, which is Terrazyme, the LLV, Serenity soft gels, Triese, and the women's phytoestrogen. So I know that was what? I'm just trying to tell you what this stuff tells us. So substitution blend. Okay, so let's go with, what did one oil we talked about? Let's just say frankincense, because maybe somebody doesn't have frankincense yet,
Peppermint would be another one.
or you run out of. Frankincense is, substitution 1 is pink pepper. 2 is the anti-aging blend, which is Immortelle. Somebody tell me why you think they listed Immortelle. Just type it in right there. And fennel.
Interesting.
I did. Look, I learned something new every day. So that's just where, again, so anybody know why they think they put in the anti-aging blend, which is Immortelle? And then I'm going to do peppermint while you might be typing. Peppermint. The first option they give is the soothing blend, which is deep blue.
Yeah.
Deep blue. Second is spearmint. Third is digestin. Good job, Diane. Yes, and Peggy. Yes, because they suggested the blends because that has that oil in it, which is what I alluded to before I had some of the oils. So I love the substitution blend because sometimes we get, let me look at lavender real fast, only because, okay, yeah. So lavender, petitgrain, Roman chamomile, coriander. So interesting. Love, honestly, just to have the substitution thing is super helpful. Are you looking up the cost just so they know? Okay.
We're getting some questions about cost of the materials.
Okay.
Let me give you just a quick description of the difference.
Okay.
This is the Symphony of the Cells journal. Think of this as your textbook. So it has a complete description of the technique, how to use it, why you use it.
Well, it breaks down each body system, and then it
has all the protocols in there.
And then it also has, hang on, let me get to it. It also has a thing in the back for 100 applications. And you actually write down the person's name and then what you did, which application you did, day one, how they felt, and then it gives you just kind of keep track of that. So this might be for somebody, but this was the one that
So that is the textbook.
Okay.
That one is $23.95. And I will tell you this, I've looked. The last time I looked, the only place you can get these books is through the Symphony of the Cells website.
Yeah, I think so.
You can't find it in any of the other oil stores. It's not on Amazon, just through Symphony of the Cells.
Yeah.
Now they do, if you sign up for their email list, they do occasionally offer specials and that type of thing. So that's $23.95. There is a Symphony of the Cells application book that's a smaller book. It literally just lists the applications. So the section of this book,
the protocols,
yeah,
that's all. Okay, so it would only have like the sensory, and then it would give you what to do, how to do that. I don't even know if it gives you all of this, like that information too.
I have it again. I don't know exactly where it is, but it's just literally that one section of the book, and it is $12.95. The chart is $3.95, and you can also buy these in bundles with all of the pieces together. I think that there's the Symphony of the Cells class in a box, and it's $59 and includes all of the books and a couple of booklets and a couple of little like hand card things. And it looks like maybe a bag or a
Well,
apron.
look, but that's like majorly on sale.
Yeah.
It was 95 and now it's 59.
yeah.
Wow.
And it's not
Yeah.
telling me what.
Yeah. Now, and
Always
here's
there.
the thing. This card is what gives you the ailments and the conditions that you might be trying to figure out. So it's worth the $4. Really, truly. It is. And if you want to, to get the smaller booklet that was what, 13, 12 something, and this, if that's what, then do that. Yeah. Because this is what you're going to be. Because if I had just gotten this, I would have been like, oh no, where are the
What now?
where are the issues right here on this card? So anyway,
I also want to mention this with both Symphony of the Cells and AromaTouch. Unless you are a licensed massage therapist and have taken the training, legally, you're not supposed to charge to give this technique. So just know that. Do with it what you want, but that's those are the rules.
Sure.
Let's see what else we've got here. I saw a couple of other questions come in. Got to get the book. We covered that. Got to get that book. Yep. Beth said, I have the Zendocrine soft gels. Can I just add them to my LOV and other supplements regimen, or is it a specific protocol?
Yeah, I have this.
Zendocrine soft gels.
Right, but as opposed to,
I would I don't know that necessarily fit in with.
okay, I was,
I personally don't
ahead.
use the Zendocrine on a regular basis. That's something I throw in every once in a while if I sense there's a need or if I know there's a need. I've had some situations here lately where I'm in the middle of a detox for a parasite, and there's just days that your gut is completely out of whack and you can tell something's up. I throw the Zendocrine in because basically, as a reminder, the idea of the Zendocrine is to help cleanse the organs and help cleanse the cleansing organs. So when I can just sense that stuff's not going the way it's supposed to be going, I throw in some Zendocrine. So I don't know that there's really harm that would be done if you did it on a daily basis.
But it's probably one of those that you wouldn't necessarily need.
Yeah.
Shouldn't on the regular. I mean, you might do a month's worth and then just kind of take a break and see, or just a couple weeks and see what because again, your body, it'll tell you.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that we've tried to start to really pay attention to what your body's saying. Often when we crave something, it's really truly because there is a need of some type.
Yeah.
When we're craving chips, perhaps sometimes it's actually the salt that you need. The key is to do whatever you need to satisfy that need, but sometimes it's when we go overboard.
One of the interesting things we've talked about recently is the fact that when you are coming down with something, you sense that you're coming down with a virus or whatever. Often we want ice cream, or
so interesting.
We want
sugar. It's
dairy.
Yeah.
Sugar and dairy is what we want. Well, interestingly enough, that's what feeds a virus.
Yeah. So the virus is trying to feed itself.
Yeah. Trying to do what it has to do to survive.
Yeah.
So by taking those things in, we're actually exacerbating the problem instead of fixing it.
Correct. Correct.
So as hard as it is, one of the things that we have to learn to do is deprive ourselves of the things that we really crave.
Well, and that's just
sometimes.
Again, becoming more aware of what's going on. You're feeling off. Most of the time, you don't go to bed 100% fine and wake up the next morning like a truck hit you. You can feel it coming on, or when you look back, once you become
a little bit more aware of what your body's doing.
So then it's just going, okay, I'm not going to have the sugar. I'm drinking lots and lots of water, lemon water. Let's see if we can flush.
Or like, for example, this is a good example. Over the weekend, I started feeling like I was maybe coming down with a UTI. Don't get those. I only remember having one once as an adult while I was on my Hawaii cruise. Yeah, it was miserable. But for 2 days, I took Zendocrine soft gels. That's the only difference that and I drank extra water with lemon in it. Put some juniper berry over my abdomen. And I'm feeling completely better.
And when I feel that way, my first go-to is I do a shooter that has juniper berry, lemon, and grapefruit. And I just put a little water in it and shoot it down a couple times a day. If I really feel like I'll do it topically.
But those oils are in the Zendocrine.
Yeah. So that's that's just what I've done. So
we had the how much is the book. We answered that. Contains frankincense, anti-aging. Application book gives an introduction, all the applications and substitute. Yes. Can you charge for the oils? I guess technically you could charge per drop for the oils. That is not going to get you much though. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess technically you could. Bottom line is use it as a ministry tool or a gift, I guess.
Will
If you're
I
not a
have-
licensed.
Will I have a rage fit? Who is this? Beth
That's
asking
Beth.
me? We're not going to lie. You might.
Uh-huh.
Now I will tell you, doing Symphony of the Cells, I've never had anybody have that reaction. But I am going to tell you too, I usually only do it on my family, and we're all pretty oily. And so now I have when we did the liver cleanse early on in the game. But again, we weren't as oily as we are now.
We weren't as oily and we were given wrong information.
Not for the liver cleanse. Not for the liver cleanse.
Are you
Uh-uh.
talking about the
I'm
lemon
just
and
talking
peppermint?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah. So, but I've never. But
Yeah.
listen, guys, anything's possible. People message me all the time and they say, "Have you ever heard of?" Just recently, 3 days ago, I got a text message. "Have you ever heard of someone having scary dreams while taking the LLB?" Nope. But I'm not going to tell you that it can happen, because anything can happen. Again, what are the oils doing? What is the point of the oils? And Carol said it numerous times during her AromaTouch when she was talking about that. It's to bring the body back into balance. So whatever it's doing, why ever you're out of balance, it could absolutely have a.
And how can I say this gently?
Well, everybody always blames the oils first.
Thank you.
Is that what
she
you were
didn't
gonna
say
say?
it gently? Yes.
I mean, and again,
You've changed
yes.
something.
Yes,
So the
sure.
natural tendency is I've changed something, then I had a bad dream, or I've changed something, then I had a skin breakout, or I've changed something, then whatever, I had a rage fit. So it must be
Right.
whatever it is I changed.
But you know what just hit me? What Jamie said, as far as if you are going to do Symphony that sells on someone, and you said, "Have you ever had any type of reaction to doTERRA oils?" I believe she said doTERRA oils, and how she said to you needed to do
Alpha
Alpha
CRS.
CRS and the Terrazyme for a couple of days before. Well, let's think about that. That's probably what's going on the inside. Somebody uses a product, something else is out of whack, and it's trying to go, okay, let's get rid of whatever it is, and the body freaks out. Again, your body it's adaptable, and sometimes not in a good way.
Yeah.
Like when you do sorry, I just lost my train of thought. Your body is adaptable. Oh, when you do the iToby, I knew I was going somewhere. When you do the iToby scan, or you muscle test for something, or when we see our naturopath holistic doctor, and she has oils that you need to use. Well, your body, it'll adapt, and like where something might be working and then all of a sudden it's not, it's because your body adapts. I don't know why it adapts when you're doing something good for it. I don't know, but it does. And so that's why, like even with the iToby, it's a screenshot. Yeah. It's a snapshot of what is going on right now in your body.
Yeah.
So
here's the other thing that I'm seeing. I've seen a couple of comments and questions about accepting money for doing either one of these techniques. The bottom line is, my understanding of the legality of things is, if you've accepted money in any way, shape, or form, and there's a reaction, people have the capability of coming back on you. And you're talking lawsuit material.
Yeah.
If you get to the wrong people. So I just wouldn't, but yeah, to each their own.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the last question I see. Anybody else got one?
Adaptive does that to me about
just
weird drinks. And everybody has, most people have found vetiver was like that with cedarwood, was like that with my husband. I couldn't even use cedarwood. Even Correctix, which has cedarwood in it, if I used that before I went to bed, he would have scary dreams. I'm like, what in the world? Vetiver was like that for me. I had trouble with the new Serenity when they switched the formula. I'm fine with it now, but it took me a little while. But vetiver does that. Adaptive. Do you have anything that you use that gives you weird dreams like that? Yeah. And it really, what it is I think it just puts you into a really deep sleep. And
well,
so
I was just going to say, but then I tend to fall asleep quickly, and literally, unless I have to go to the bathroom, I don't wake up.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I
vetiver
sleep
too.
hard.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, what the heck? Vetiver I stayed very far away from for a long time, but I can use I don't use straight vetiver. I haven't in Yeah, I've done it in a couple of the Symphony of the Cells
Well,
protocols.
and I might react,
but yeah,
but I haven't had the need to use them. So
but
I
I don't have any issue with Serenity now. And I just usually use it topically. I don't put it in the diffuser. So I just use it topically, but yeah. So yeah. So I hope this is helpful.
Yeah.
You all know I love Symphony of the Cells. In fact, my youngest son was in a car accident on Friday night, and bless him, so sore. And yesterday he was talking to my husband, and I said, ask him if he has the chi protocol. That is one I often use on my husband. You all know my husband is a Chick-fil-A manager. I'm just going to tell you what chi is for, and that will give you some insight. But the chi it says the application focuses on the skeletal, muscular, and connective tissue systems of the body. Chi in Chinese means energy. The chi application is intended to relieve, support, and recharge the physical structures of the body. And so I often use that for my husband when he's had a day of craziness at the chicken house. So, but I suggested that he utilize that.
Chicken.
So yeah.
Elaine said this was fun. Oh,
Good. I'm glad you're here, Elaine.
Yep.
Oh, yes.
That said, thanks for doing this. That's what I used.
I remember, Peggy, I forgot that you had told me that the other day.
Yeah.
They got a stomach bug in their household, and her daughter had thrown up for 3, 4, 5 hours, and she used chi as well because everything it hurts so much. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I love it.
Bottom line is, if you see a training for AromaTouch or Symphony of the Cells, either one within driving distance, I would make the effort to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They're not cheap.
They're not cheap.
But I think you can see the value in them.
Yeah.
So,
and I definitely would. Again, this book it really kind of walks you through, especially if you read all the beginning stuff, which I didn't, but there's a lot of information in here. But
it's just details. I will tell you this. In my opinion, Symphony of the Cells is easier to do on yourself than AromaTouch is.
Well, yeah, so you've got to go in the special zones. I'm like, your foot you could do.
Yeah.
Probably a little bit easier.
Yeah, or even your hand.
But like she said, though, AromaTouch is the just helping to try to bring the body back into balance. This is all specific, targeting ailments, emotional. I mean, it's all doing that. So that is, so that's kind of the two differences. It's the one is more almost like relaxation, balance. The other is you're fighting something, you're trying to get rid of it. And that's what that's for.
Yeah. So I would say AromaTouch is a good, just kind of maintenance type thing.
Sure.
Symphony of the Cells is more targeted support.
Yeah. And I keep saying I keep telling my husband that I need to do where I literally go through every single protocol on him.
And bullet point it?
Yeah. No, bullet point. No, but go through every single, do it for, and then it would be however many there are. I think there are 12.
Yeah, I think
12,
that
15,
sounds right.
And doing one a week or doing, one a month or whatever, and just kind of see what kind of results we see. So, and he's like, sure, whatever, hon.
So again, next week, we're going to talk about essential science. Again, we're not talking chemistry. We're not talking like everybody has to get their notes out because Carol's going to say words that nobody knows. We're not even, as far as I remember, we don't even talk about sesquiterpenes.
Monoterpenes. Nope, none of that.
So it's just basically some of the basic science behind using your oils to the best of your ability. So hope that you will consider joining us for that. I will post.
And that's our last one, guys.
Yeah.
This is finishing up our 8 weeks of continuing education. So it's our last one.
The link for that will go up on Wednesday. And we will send out, for those of you who are on our continuing education text group list, I'll send out a link for the recording of this call tomorrow. So just be watching for that. I'll also put it up on the Team Holtz Essentials and Essential Education Facebook pages, likely be late in the afternoon on Tuesday. So we'll make sure that goes up. And if you have any questions for Jamie, again, make sure you get them to us, and we'll get her to answer whatever questions you have behind the scenes of a TV show. I said that. Beth. Okay, so hope you guys have enjoyed this. Thank you for taking the time to be with us this evening. And was there anything else?
We love seeing y'all.
Text list, get on the text group and on the email list. And if you guys haven't taken the time recently, I'm going to encourage you to run over to my website. I've made significant changes over the last couple of weeks, so I would love to get your input on them. And we will talk with you soon.
Good to see you guys.
CarolHoltz.com for those of you who need that.
It sounds like a commercial.
Yeah.
1-800.
CarolHoltz.com. Don't call that number because it doesn't exist.
Bye, guys.
All right. Thank you, guys.